Shalom. I don't know how long I'm going to stream, but uh, first and foremost, uh, if you are watching my channel, please do take the time to go to PayPal. I should probably put the PayPal link somewhere. And, well, I think it's right here. It's on top of my Twitter. Here, I will also put it in the chat. And please give $5 a month to Fountain of Comfort. It's a genuine 501c3 charity, which hopes to do real things, helping real people. Because the insanity is just driving me insane. Imagine being this stupid. Queers for Palestine. Konstantin Kisin. There are whole chunks of the population, perhaps a majority, who are completely unable to think from first principles. They will happily defend the very thing they condemned hours earlier, as long as it's their side doing them. Amazing to watch. Yes, God Sad, the Godfather. Let me provide you with the syllabus of every Near East Studies course on Israel at every Western university. Prior to 1948, Jews and Arabs lived in beautiful peace in noble, inclusive Palestine. There was zero Jew hatred in the Middle East. As a matter of fact, Islam reveres the Jews. Then a bunch of bloodthirsty white Zionists from Europe, with zero claims to that land, created terrorism and ethnically cleansed the noble Palestinians who had accepted the Jews and protected them. Over the past 75 years, the Zionists have committed a genocide on people who simply wish to live in peace. The Zionists are modern-day Nazis, indistinguishable from those Nazis who exterminated the Jews, albeit the Jews have greatly exaggerated the number of Jews killed. Did I miss any details? It is actually difficult, as a fierce critic of Zionism and the State of Israel, to stomach being cornered into defending both because of the absolutely insane anti-Semitic attacks. If you think Israel is worse than Hamas, PLO, Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, Iran, etc., you are insane. That was money. It is really, really, really tiring to see the level of insanity going on. From everything I have seen, the mainstream media is completely and utterly a joke. The New York Times, the New York Times apparently published a story, Israeli strike kills hundreds in hospital, Palestinians say, with a picture of a different hospital that was destroyed. A different one. I bothered listening to NPR recently, National Palestinian Radio. And they were doing fundraisers, and they were talking about how terrible the disinformation and misinformation on Twitter/X is. it would be really, really nice to be able to have intelligent, reasonable people talking about this. I tend to listen to Glenn Greenwald, Michael Tracy, and Jimmy Dore. Unfortunately, Michael Tracy and Jimmy Dore, they just go too far. It's become really, really difficult. I am critical of Zionism and Israel because I am Jewish. Because the state of Israel claims my religion and fails to live up to it. Jacob, will you condemn Hamas? Yes, I will condemn Hamas. I will also condemn Israel if necessary. But holding Israel to a different, I mean, what kind of triggered me was Sam Tiedemann, Sam Adams, Sam of Samasada, went on Jake the Muslim Metaphysician's channel. And Jake seems like about as nice of a guy as you can be when you're an autodidact Muslim from America. And it always depresses me to no end to see intelligent Muslims being led around by visceral anti-Semitism. And I am not calling all anti-Zionism anti-Semitism. If you look up non-Zionism on Wikipedia, you will find out that religious Jews, the vast majority of religious Jews considered themselves anti-Zionist until it became impossible to distinguish between the anti-Zionists and the anti-Semites. And while I try to make the distinction daily, it's very difficult to make that distinction. Mostly because if you hold Jews to a different standard than anybody else in the world, I hold Jews to a different standard than any other people in the world because they are my people. I expect better from a supposedly Jewish government than I expect from any other government in the world. And so it is no excuse, in my view, that Israel is not as bad as Saudi Arabia. But if you claim to actually care about Muslim children, and it's not simply your hatred of Jews, where were you when ISIL, the Islamic Caliphate, was murdering Shia by the thousands? Where have you been when Saudi Arabia massacres Houthis? Where have you been while the Coptic community in Egypt is completely decimated? Where have you been as China throws billions, not billions, but millions, millions of Uyghur Muslims into concentration camps, actual concentration camps. If you hold the Jews to a different standard than the rest of the world, I have to ask why. I don't know if anybody wants to jump on. The news doesn't cover Muslim on Muslim violence. Nope. Nor does it cover Christian on Muslim violence, nor Muslim on Christian violence, nor atheist on Muslim violence. Chechnya, Bosnia. Where in the world is there a Muslim population that can be said to be living in even reasonable conditions? Where? Yet the only Muslims you supposedly care about. Here, I'll pull up my hook, line, and sinker. She blocked me, of course. So I said, if you care about Palestinians, you would be demanding countries like Iran allow them to resettle there. Because I started by saying there are zero Muslims. There are zero people who care about the children in Gaza who want them living under Hamas. And it's true. There are literally zero people who actually care about the children in, frankly, if you believe Hamas's form of Sharia is caring, F you. Just F you. If you think that Hamas really treats their own population much better than they treat Jews, you simply are ignorant. There are 1 million children under the age of 14, approximately, in Gaza. 1 million children under the age of 14. Children under the age of 14. If you want those children to continue to live in Gaza, you're an asshole. When Rabbi Mandel, Kobe's father, taught at the yeshiva I went to in Israel, I knew Rabbi Mandel. When Kobe Mandel, at the age of 13, was stoned to death, and his head was crushed in by a rock because they lived in the territories. I had to wonder if there wasn't negligence on the part of his father. Now, that's a difficult question for me to answer, because it's not like there are other countries that Jews can claim to be able to live in freely, completely freely, as Jews. I would make the argument that living in Australia or the United States is generally safer for Jews, but that is an argument that is debatable. Is it truly the fact that the children living in Gaza, their parents really can't find a place where they are more likely to thrive and be able to put roots and live? This is what really disgusts me about certain strains of Zionism. It's one thing if you say, and frankly, I can't say that you're absolutely wrong. If you say that we as Jews have no other place to go and we must defend Israel because it is the only Jewish state in the world. But if you make the absolutely idiotic argument that the mitzvah, which is debatable, of Yishuv Haaretz, of living in the land of Israel, and it is debatable if that is an applicable mitzvah right now, but let's assume that it is a Yahara Gval Yavor? You should die and not transgress it? Really? Because of our sins, we have been exiled from our land. Zionism, as defined as the belief that God gave the land of Israel to the Jewish people, is a basic belief in Judaism. It's the first Rashi on the Torah. It is a clear statement of the Hebrew Bible throughout it. It's even in the Quran. That's not debatable, and that is part and parcel of believing in the Torah of Moses. Zionism, as defined as the idea that we should spend Jewish blood on land, is indefensible. That it is some sort of halacha, some sort of divine commandment for us to conquer the land at this time is foolish and not in any way consonant with how halacha has been understood for thousands of years. And the only reason I have to even say this, the only reason why I have to say this is to explain why I am not being in any way hypocritical when I blame those parents who live in Gaza who refuse to resettle somewhere else. Forget the fairness of it. Forget historical grievances. And if your focus is not on the fact that Hamas is holding hostages, including children, if your focus is not on the fact that Hamas is doing everything it can to maximize the number of Palestinians who die, and it is, like, this is not a debatable point. This is one of the things that got me upset listening to Jake the Muslim physician talk about Piers Morgan and the idea that how many children were killed or were not killed by Hamas and whether or not they were beheaded. Does any actual intelligent person think that Hamas itself would publicly condemn the murder of thousands of Jewish children? This attempt at arguing the facts when morally one side does not actually believe in the types of things that are moral, right? The dishonesty of that. Tell me truly, do you believe that it is defensible to deliberately kill children? Chris, if you want to jump on. In fairness, though, I don't want them to come here either, so I can't ask Egypt to take them. Send them to Canada. They will take anyone. Muslim on Muslim crime. They never cover those car bombs in Peshawar. Islam has bloody borders. Islam has always had bloody borders. The fact is, I cannot believe that any reasonable or intelligent Muslim seriously thinks that living under the rule of any Islamic regime in the entire world, I guess maybe Malaysia and Indonesia don't have horrible governments? I just wish that there was intelligent and reasonable conversation. I wish there was honest, reasonable, and intelligent conversation going on. I have faith in the logos. I have faith in people speaking the truth, and people speaking the truth intelligently and bravely. There are 1 million children under the age of 14 in Gaza. 1 million. Address that intelligently. Not through your hatred of Israel or through some historic intergenerational context. There's some 5-year-old girl in Gaza right now who was born there. And you can talk about the culpability of Hamas all you want. But tell me what you think should happen to that 5-year-old girl. And there's not just one 5-year-old girl. There are 1 million children under the age of 14 there. And I want sane conversations about that. Not talking about flattening Gaza like a parking lot. Jacob, is Israel an apartheid state? No, Israel is not an apartheid state. If you want to define Israel as an apartheid state, by the measures by which Israel is an apartheid state, half the countries in the world are apartheid states. In a very real sense, the United Kingdom is an apartheid state by that standard. Don't apply a different standard to the Jews as you apply to the rest of the world. Every single Muslim country has different laws for Muslims and for non-Muslims. Every single one. Jews and Christians are not even allowed to visit Mecca. Yet, at the same time, people talk about the access of Muslims to the holiest shrine in Judaism. If it was up to me, the Temple Mount would be completely closed off and nobody would be allowed on the Temple Mount. Nobody. Nobody. Completely closed off. Nobody sets foot on the Temple Mount. Not one person. So why is it fine that Jews and Christians and non-Muslims are not even allowed within how many miles of Mecca? Christians allowed in Mecca. In Mecca, only Muslims are allowed. This is according to Wikipedia. Prior to March 1st of March 2004, the official Saudi government website stated that Jews were forbidden from entering the country. However, this practice was not enforced. In Mecca, only Muslims are allowed, while non-Muslims may not enter or pass through. Attempting to enter Mecca as a non-Muslim can result in penalties such as a fine. Being in Mecca as a non-Muslim can result in deportation. In Medina, non-Muslims are not allowed to enter Nabawi Square, where the Al-Masjid al-Nabawi is located. Here. Road sign on a highway into Mecca stating that one direction is Muslim only, while another direction is obligatory for non-Muslims. Religious police are stationed beyond the turnoff on the main road to prevent non-Muslims from entering Mecca. Non-Muslims may enter Medina but must keep distance from the Al-Masjid al-Nabawi. Is Saudi Arabia an apartheid state? Is China an apartheid state? Is Yemen an apartheid state? Oh, you guys weren't seeing this, but there you go. There you go. Muslims only. The Antichrist should be allowed up there. That's that's it. Syria, where the Alawites, a religious minority, rule over a majority. Iraq, the Punjab. If you're going to have the same standard, you're holding Israel to a completely different standard than any other country in the world. And that's the anti-Semitism that makes it impossible for a thinking Jew to ally themselves with the anti-Zionists. Do we have a two-state solution or a one-state solution right now? I have no idea what's going to happen. I honestly have no idea what's going to happen in Gaza. What is the fertility rate in Gaza? Fertility rate in Gaza. 2021 by the Palestinian Census Bureau of Statistics. Here. Another factor for the young population in Gaza is that people tend to marry in their early 20s, according to 2021 data by the Palestinian Central Bureau of Statistics, and the fertility rate, births per woman, is 3.38, according to a U.S. Census Bureau estimate. That is compared to 1.84 in the U.S. 3.38 children per woman. Look at that age. Look at that. Are you guys? Am I showing? No, I am not. Keep on doing this. Look at that age pyramid. Look at that age pyramid. 15% of the population is between 0 and 4. 13% is between 5 and 9. About 12.5% is between 10 and 14. That adds up to what? Almost 50%. Another 10%, 15 to 19. Estimated share of the population under 18. United States, 22%. Israel, 33%. West Bank, 42%. Gaza, 47%. What about the children? What are you going to do about the children? I mean, like last week, because I think we are going from a one-state solution to a one-state solution. There's so much that can be said about this. Honestly, like, if I miraculously became the prime minister of Israel, the islands that Iraq and Iran were fighting over in the Iran-Iraq war, I wonder how many people could live there. Here, let's go look at. So, Iran, Iraq. Let's see if they have a good map. 1 million people on each side died. So Khuzestan apparently is where they were fighting over. Shat al-Arab. Honestly, I would have. I don't know if Israel has the capabilities of occupying this area and relocating the entirety of Gaza to Iran, that area of Iran and Iraq. It's impossible and crazy, That's what I do. Okay, people. I think I'm gonna. Did I finish ranting about logos? I get asked why I talk about these things, why I say things which. Tayo!
Good morning, Jacob.
Good
Or
morning.
evening to you.
It is morning here. It's 1 a.m.
Yes, I thought so. How was your day yesterday?
It was pretty nice, actually. Yeah.
Was it your Twitter interactions
Oh,
told quite a bit of a stressful?
no, I was pissed off. I mean, I like to rant, and I haven't been doing much. Um, so like doing the just chatting streams is my chance to rant. Um, I don't know. In many ways, I am frustrated with the world.
Oh, very what an understatement. Yeah, yeah, the world will do that.
The
Oh,
world
is
is frustrated.
if Chris is still in the chat, I don't know if I saw a song from him yesterday that was just fire. Lick the
Really?
plate. Yeah.
Have you seen Chris's tributes to me, which I highly?
No,
Let me see if I can find it.
I don't believe I've seen
Uh,
that.
it is the high point of my life to be memed by Chris. Um,
It's
where
always an
did that
by the
go?
way.
Where did that go? Um, Hold on. Where's my? I can't even find Chris's channel. He hasn't posted anything in a while, has he?
Hasn't he? Wait, let me see. What did I?
There he is.
Let me s-
Cow. Oh yeah, lick the plate. Here,
Yes, lick the plate.
I will. We can play some Chris originals. Do you think he'll copyright
Mm,
strike me?
mm,
I think it
mm,
should. The channel's
mm.
getting too big.
Oh my god. It's so good. Mm, mm. Oh, it's so good. All right, here we go. Asked my daddy for $1, he gave me work. Said if you really want it, then you gon' have to earn. Ain't nothing free, not a damn thing deserved. You gon' have to struggle and show 'em what you're worth. You gon' have to fail and crash till you burn. You gon' have to eat shit, the only way to learn. You gon' have to eat shit, that is what it takes. And you'll know you finally made it when you learn to lick the plate. If I were you, I'd stop praying for a miracle. Ain't nothing spiritual but waiting for a hero, bro. You gon' have to be that hero that you're searching for. You're the second coming if you're willing to endure it, though. Look at the enlightened demeanor of a saint with nothing but a smile, shit smeared on his face. Peace in his heart and a will that won't shake, cause he's already had many chances to break, but he never took them. Every reason to quit, but he just couldn't. If you can't stand the heat, then quit cooking. Ain't no going back, not even looking. Everything that came, I withstood it. I was a 13-year-old kid. A classmate of mine went to his dad and said, Dad, I want to go see a movie with my friends. I need some money. Give me allowance. He said, okay, son, here's $20. Have fun. I was like, what? He just gave his son $20? Tried that on my dad. Guess what? You want $20? Here's a job, young buck. Asked my daddy for $1. He gave me work. Said, if you really want it, then you gon' have to earn. Ain't nothing free, not a damn thing deserved. You gon' have to struggle and show 'em what you're worth. You gon' have to fail and crash till you burn. You gon' have to eat shit, the only way to learn. You gon' have to eat shit, that is what it takes. And you'll know you finally made it when you learn to lick the plate. Thank you, sir. May I have another kick in the ass? Like I'm not already bloody, like I'm not already wanting to collapse into a puddle. Cause the pressure that I'm under is too much for one to suffer. Best teacher I've met's the will to live. Throw him in the pool and learn how to swim. Back against the wall, what you gonna do, kid? Turn into a man or die like a bitch? When I was a boy, I would ask God, why? Heard a voice from heaven, it came out from the sky. Quit talking, start working, you're running out of time. Then I became a man and I said, all right. When I was a boy, I would ask God, why? Heard a voice from heaven and it came out from the sky. Quit talking, start working, you're running out of time. Then I became a man and I said, all right. Asked daddy for $1, he gave me work. Said, if you really want it, then you won't have to earn. Ain't nothing free, not a damn thing deserved. You gon' have to struggle and show 'em what you're worth. You gon' have to fail and crash till you burn. You gon' have to eat shit, the only way to learn. You gon' have to eat shit, that is what it takes. And you'll know you finally made it when you learn to lick the plate. It's so good.
I hope that's chocolate.
I think it's a good message.
There.
Oh, the Jacob song. Let's see.
Propaganda with persuasion and communication, how human beings make decisions, how human beings are influenced by each other to have technological progress in rhetoric. That's what has happened. New psychotechnologies, too many people think they understand human communication. They don't. I hope it's clear to you that the helicopter on the left would never fly. Helicopter on the right would also never fly. These are just scaled down models. We're talking about technology here, and technology has progressed. Mass circulation of books, mass circulation of newspapers, and that allowed for advertising, and then more ways of communication like radio, television, and now internet came into being. Edward Bernays came up with the idea of public relations. Bernays realized in consulting with psychologists, his uncle was Sigmund Freud, and he realized that there is a sexual element and that cigarettes can be marketed to women as something that is both sexy and that is liberating. It is an incredibly idiotic thing to tell someone to think for themselves. Secure our distributed cognition through awareness, transparency, and accountability. I did not do saving throws, although I probably should have. Propaganda with propaganda, propaganda with propaganda, propaganda with propaganda, propaganda with This is a nuclear bomb going on. Propaganda with you cannot think for yourself. Think for yourself. Think for yourself. Anyone who tells you to think for yourself is your enemy. You should not think for yourself. Our understanding of ourselves and our world is not contained in our own skin. We as human beings have distributed cognition. I am not saying you should not think. You should think not just for yourself. You should think for others, and you should help others think for you, and you should ask others to think. You cannot think for yourself. It is an idiotic thing to say, think for yourself. If you are thinking for yourself, you have decided that you want to field an army of one in a battle royale where there are people with large armies. That's not going to go well for you. Do not think for yourself. Think for yourself. All cognition is in some part outsourced. If you think that you are thinking just for yourself, that you are not influenced by anyone else, you're just being silly and stupid.
That was a very Jacob video. I love that. I think I've actually watched that exact video.
The original video was okay. The his rendition of the video was much better.
Yeah.
So
the
James
first video.
Henry wants to know: would your second Babylonian exile contribute any eschatological resolution? I'm not sure what you mean. If in case I wasn't clear, I meant Israel would take over that land and ship the Palestinians there. I didn't mean the Jews. So Zephaniah 3:9 is the verse that I quote constantly. Zephaniah 3:8 is a very, very scary verse. It is one of, I believe, 2 verses in the entire Bible that has the entirety of the Hebrew alphabet. I believe including the sophites, including the final forms in included in the verse. And while we certainly believe in Judaism that none of the prophecies for bad things will definitely happen, because we believe that it is possible for people to repent and for God to have mercy. It certainly is kind of scary. So yeah,
Yeah.
don't know what to tell you.
That the quoted the sentence in quotation, second Babylon exile sent shiver down my spine. Especially because we are currently studying Daniel in Bible study at church. So another one.
Well, if you believe that Daniel isn't a forgery.
Well, yeah. Hey, Shadow.
Say hi, Shadow. I'm not sure, like, she's getting tangles in her fur in the places that she can't clean herself. And I'm not
so
sure if I should be I think I have to get a brush or something. Most people tell me that indoor cats should not be bathed at all.
that's true. I've done all of my cat owning friends with indoor cats don't bathe their cats, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
I never
So,
considered that.
but I think I do need to buy a kitty brush and make sure that I brush at least the parts of her that she herself, her tongue doesn't get there. So, yeah. She's only 1. She's a baby.
Oh. Jacob, you need to go to bed. I need to get to. I'm off today at work, but I've got other work to do. I
Go
need to
have
get
fun.
offline. Bye,
I'm
Shadow.
gonna go. Bye, people.